All right, all right. Coach Julie here, IYCA brand executive. Excited to be here today to introduce one of our speakers for the IYCA Impact Summit 2023. We are so excited about this event on November 18th in the comfort of your own homes. All right, who's excited about that, right, Brad? We get to do this from the comfort of our own homes and make impact and pay that forward so our coaches, trainers, performance professionals can also have that ripple effect and impact. I'm really excited to dig in with you a little bit here today, Brad. So, just to fill the audience in on what to expect from you as one of our experts on our roster to speak on November 18th. So, Brad, first of all, you've been with the IYCA now, I mean, probably over a decade, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time of contributing and also a long time of attending summits, which were so beneficial to me as a young coach. So I'm excited to be on the flip side of that and presenting again and really paying back to the IYCA of all they've given me as a young coach and now as an older coach. So it's always fun kind of coming back and it's so good to see the great content that's been coming out as of late.
Yeah. Well, and thanks to you for being a piece of creating and curating some of that content. So we're really excited about your topic for this event. But before we dig into that and how important it is and who may benefit from that, I want you to just share a little bit about why the IYCA, why this topic, why do you even enjoy being in this industry, and how long have you been in it? So just give us a little backstory about you.
For sure. So I've been a strength and conditioning coach going on now 20 years. I've done everything from working in the private sector, owning businesses, to working a little bit in the public sector, and everywhere in between. And I've been totally blessed that the IYCA has been a part of my coaching acumen for the last 20 years, and things that we have learned from the IYCA is really what driven me and has drove me to this topic of assessments and key performance indicators. The topic is so important to not only coaches to give kind of a snapshot of who the athlete is, specifically daily or whenever your testing is, but more importantly, to their success and well-being as an athlete and staying in the game and looking at how we can better reduce injuries over time and obviously in the immediate, right? So I always say the best athlete's an available athlete, and getting data and looking at data is critical to that statement. As somebody that's not only in coaching, I'm also in higher education. So I teach for a living as well as coach. And this is something I drive in our courses from all the way from their freshman year in college all the way to when they leave, and even in our graduate course, how to look at data, what specific data do you need, and then how to take that data and turn it into something that's useful for the athlete. And if we're talking about even younger, those youth athletes, right, important ages of 8, 9, 10, how we can parlay that and talk to the parents about that data and what specifically we're using that data for. So I'm excited about the topic. I think it's needed in our field as technology has grown so rapidly. Gosh, my 20 years, we barely had, computers going on when I was an undergrad, right? And now all of a sudden we see athlete management systems and all these cool GPS things. And what do we really need on the ground level of coaching? Where do we need it? And then how do we implement it? And more importantly, how do we use it? So I'm excited about it and can't wait to deliver that to you guys November 18th.
Yeah, well, Brad, I mean, your mind just blows my mind every time we get to talk about this kind of stuff. So anybody who comes in the room and listens to this is surely going to take away at least one thing to apply to what they're doing with athletes, and no matter what capacity, whether you're a physical education teacher, whether you are a sport coach, whether you are a youth fitness professional, it doesn't matter. What I always hear when I hear assessments is taking the subjective and making it objective so you can better plan and guide your athletes to success. Right? Because, oh, I feel faster or I feel stronger, I look like I'm doing better on the field or court is great. That's a piece of it. But actually having those objective ways to indicate, especially to parents, especially to future coaches, hey, here's the progress we've seen. Would you say, Brad, that's one of the greatest benefits of actually digging in to assessments and tracking this stuff?
For sure, that is a massive key to why we track things. As you mentioned, we want everybody to feel good and be good. We want to get that subjective stuff, but we also want to see some of that quantitative or that number stuff, right? Everybody's stuck on numbers. Question is, how do we get there and how do we monitor it?
Mm.
Which is really critical to the success of the athlete. Moreover, what else you said that's really important is that subjective data and how do we create something that's subjective and move it to objective, right? Oftentimes, and we know building relationships and rapport with our athletes is so important to the buy-in of the culture. In fact, I was talking to another coach the other day, and I said, we both can have the same program, but it's the buy-in from the athlete that's going to turn that program into something special, right? We're all really good coaches. We all really know programming. How do we get that buy-in? That's building relationships. And sometimes the subjective thing that you might do, right? The cue or maybe a survey you give to learn about your athlete is really more critical than the sets and the reps behind, the program. So I'm really looking forward to talking about that and how you create that subjective to objective. And I think that's important. The other piece is really learning how to take all that data and tell people about it. I think that's really important, right? Because no matter what level of education, if you're the strength and conditioning coach, performance coach, even the physical education teacher, you're the expert. And sometimes we do not the greatest job of taking all that fun sciencey stuff and making it to where it's digestible for the athlete, for the parent, even for somebody like a sport coach who their job has been to coach the track and field team. Their job is to coach the basketball team. So how does the strength and conditioning professional, again, could be PE, could be athletic trainers, it could be anybody in the performance window. How do we talk to everybody and have them understand the same data, but understand how they can implement it in their own way that is unique to what we call the high performance unit?
That is such a great question, Brad.
It is.
So we'll leave it at that, because if you're watching this and you're wondering the same question, and even wondering like, oh man, where do I even start with assessments? Like, what do I even do? Then you absolutely need to be in the room on November 18th and hear Brad speak, because it's going to be game changing, not only for that day, but for the future and all of those future athletes that you're going to be able to impact on a higher and greater level. So can't wait to have you in the room. If you want to be in the room with us, click the link. It might be up, it might be down. Hit that button and come join us for a day, November 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We can't wait to see you in the room. Brad, always an honor. We'll be talking to you soon.
Pleasure. Thank you. Looking forward to it.